you doing this by your will, but rather it is by this that your God will be praised.
The Gospel of Judas pictures the disciples as clueless.
This image of the disciples and of Judas is the key to unlocking the true meaning of the Gospel of Judas.
The disciples, they're accused of despicable acts. They are clearly the villains of this text.
And the author drives the point home in a lurid dream sequence.
The disciples' nightmare is absolutely horrific. It's just a terrifying scene.
They are sacrificing their wives and children. There are men engaged in sexual relations with men.
We saw a great house with a great outer limit.
It's sort of a panoply of sins, and they're really frightened by this vision that they have. They're not really sure what it means.
12 people whom we say are priests.
Jesus responds by saying, terrible things are going to be done in my name, and in fact, you're going to be the ones who are doing it.
You who receive the offerings for the altar that you have sold.
They think that they're following God. They think that they're serving Jesus. They've been misled all this time.
The message of the Gospel of Judas is not simply that Jesus is betrayed by Judas in his lifetime, but that his teachings are being betrayed after his death.
The author of the Gospel of Judas is angry, but he's not angry at the events that transpired in the first century between Jesus and Judas. He's angry at church leaders in the second century.
The Gospel of Judas is critical of all the disciples of Jesus, frankly, and these disciples are standing as kind of ciphers, they're symbols of the Orthodox Church of the second century.
It seems that it's written as a criticism of mainstream Christians who are engaged in worships that are led by bishops or clerics of one kind or another. And the authors of this text, they don't like that kind of clericalism, they don't like that kind of religious service, and they are strongly discouraging people from participating in it.
No.
The Gospel of Judas is a polemic. It's a political smear against the people running the early church.
The apostolic church was emerging, the institutional church was emerging. What we know as Christianity was emerging. The Gospel of Judas was kind of a narrative against this institutional Christianity.
Written decades after the New Testament Gospels, the Gospel of Judas is less a story about Jesus than a condemnation of the leadership of the early church.
It gives us an alternate picture of the formation of Christianity.